All year long, we search for those exceptional performers. We set and define standards by which each motorcycle should be judged, each according to its category. And after 12 months of testing, we have Cycle World's 10 best. Best Adventure Bike, the 2022 KTM 1290 Super Adventure R. KTM's LC8 V-twin power plant is the Austrian gift that keeps on giving. Through its production life, the 75-degree V-twin has grown from 942 cc's to 1301. Now, as the centerpiece of the 1290 Super Adventure R, it produces 136 horsepower and 88 foot-pounds of torque at the rear tire. That's near sport bike power in a machine meant to rule the roads and be pointed at as much dirt as possible. Big power is nothing new in open-class adventure touring motorcycles, but no contemporary bike can match the capability of the 2022 KTM Super Adventure R. KTM refined the chassis, shortening the frame at the steering head by 15 millimeters to sharpen response and front contact patch feel, while lengthening the swing arm for added stability. A new 3-piece fuel tank moves weight lower in the chassis, carrying most of its 6.1 gallons in the saddle-style tanks. The result is a sure-footed ADV bike that feels lighter than its 545-pound curb weight. New electronic rider aids are controlled via a massive 7-inch TFT dash that's clear, bright, and easy to navigate. Lean-sensitive traction control and ABS tame the ferocity of the LC8, but can be turned off or tailored depending on the rider's needs. Multiple modes also alter power output, throttle response, and ABS settings. But the real star of the 1290's electro wizardry is rally mode, which lets riders select how far they want the rear tire to step out before the system reins in the throttle input. A massively entertaining and capable engine, handling that belies the bike's size, and electronics that make difficult situations easy, all combine to give the 2022 KTM 1290 Super Adventure a leg up on the competition. It pushes the limits of what an open-class ADV can do, while still nailing the basic requirements of comfortable travel. It's the full package for global domination. Best Middleweight Street Bike, the 2022 Aprilia RS 660. Blending the work of Aprilia's proven racing department with the everyday functionality and comfort to suit street use. For a day-to-day sport bike, this is the best of all things Aprilia in a platform that's ridiculously entertaining and even educational to the most experienced riders. Aprilia says the RS 660 is half of the RS V4 Superbike, but it's more than half the fun. The 659cc dual overhead cam parallel twin engine is a direct descendant of Aprilia's legendary V4 power plant. Engineers hacked off the extra cylinders, increased the stroke measurement of the two that remained, and cut it loose as a middleweight. The result is 89 dyno-measured horses that act like they've never felt so good. Around 7,000 RPM, it lets out a howl that's delightfully similar to the larger siblings. The balance of performance and versatility are hallmarks of this remarkable engine, both made possible by a wonderfully flat torque curve. It's as happy to slog highway miles as it is to rip the back roads. On a racetrack is where the technical aptitude of the Superbike level Aprilia Performance Ride Control, or APRC, rider aid suite comes in, with its selectable levels of traction control, wheelie control, engine brake management, and ABS settings to keep the mighty middleweight in check. Precise steering and well-balanced chassis lend a hand in overall performance, and aggressive yet comfortable ergonomics beg for long days in the saddle. The RS 660 powerfully demonstrates bigger isn't always better. A balance of performance and practicality is everything you need to get a great time on two wheels. Or, put another way, the best middleweight street bike of 2022. Best Superbike? 2022 Ducati Panigale V4 SP2. Following 2 years of domination in the Superbike category, thanks to its no-holds-barred super exotic Superleggera V4, Ducati has been able to infuse that same technical know-how, wicked entertainment value, and overall rideability into a track-focused package that's more attainable for the general riding public. This is MotoGP for the masses. There's a lot of magic to the SP2, and therefore a lot of value in its $39,500 price tag. An 1103cc Desmosedici Stradale V4 power plant that's good for 182 horsepower on the Cycle World dyno. Premium Brembo Stylema R calipers, adjustable Rizoma rear sets, and the raw reverberations of the dry clutch echoing the sound of classic Ducatis. And the chassis is kept in check by the semi-active Öhlins NPX 2530 fork and TTX 36 shock, and the latest Ducati Traction Control Evo 3 system. Ducati has given deep consideration to every aspect of this track machine. But what makes the SP2 so special is the balance achieved by this combination of technology. It's a display of class-leading raw performance, harnessed through steadfast control and composure from corner entry to exit. The result is a truly remarkable racetrack experience that gives the rider the sense of what it's like to be a psychokinetic MotoGP superhuman. Every time we swing a leg over this up-spec'd Panigale, we know it's going to be amazing. Best lightweight street bike, 2022 KTM RC390. KTM's RC390 is a product of the company's ready-to-race philosophy, and at the same time, much more than just a small displacement performance-first street bike. A tractable engine and light clutch help inexperienced riders get up to speed. A spacious layout enables most body types to commute in comfort, and sporty handling means seasoned enthusiasts are all smiles as they hunt apexes at the racetrack. KTM took great pains to make this next step in lightweight street bike performance, and the result is a machine that's almost all new for 2022. The 373cc dual overhead cam single-cylinder engine remains, but benefits from a 40% larger airbox, all-new exhaust system, and dedicated engine mapping. A revised steel trellis frame and bolt-on subframe save 3.3 pounds, while open hub wheels save an incredible 7.5 pounds. Updates extend to a radial-mounted bi-bray brake caliper and WP fork with compression and rebound damping adjustment. The apex shock is adjustable for spring preload and rebound damping as well. Spec sheets are important when it comes to cementing a position in any category, and KTM establishes its intentions with first-in-class electronic rider aids for the RC390. To not implement these technologies would be to limit growth in the lightweight street bike category. KTM was not about to take that path, and the category is better for it. The result of KTM's commitment is a bike that's nimble, fun, and has enough bark to keep the rider entertained. Perhaps best of all, the RC390 looks like a star as you roll it out of the garage for a day of riding. Its Grand Prix-inspired design, evoking the ready-to-race philosophy that made it all possible. Best open class street bike, the 2022 Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RR. Naked bikes may be one of the motorcycle industry's success stories in recent decades, but Triumph proved there's more than one way to dress up the platform with the Speed Triple 1200 RR. How did Triumph get here? Starting with a good platform helps, and Triumph began with the rather marvelous bones of the Speed Triple 1200 RS. Add a cockpit fairing, dedicated ergonomics, and premium finishes, and the result is a motorcycle that redefines the modern sport bike category while honoring Triumph's commitment to performance machines with its involvement in Moto2. The 1200 RR is more than just sleek lines and a racier rider triangle. A long list of high-end features include, but are not limited to, Öhlins Smart EC 2.0 electronically adjustable semi-active suspension, Brembo Stylema monoblock front brake calipers, a ratio-adjustable Brembo MCS brake lever, and carbon fiber detailing. Of course, this is all managed by an advanced suite of electronic rider aids, including ride modes, cornering traction control, cornering ABS, and front wheel lift control. The liquid-cooled dual overhead cam 1160cc inline triple engine produced 150.57 horsepower at 10,530 RPM and 82.63 foot-pounds of torque at 8,510 RPM. Out in the world, its smooth delivery and flat torque curve make this power plant an absolute gem for backroad riding. Handling is just as sweet, as the 1200 RR's compact chassis and Öhlins suspension deliver incredible amounts of feel as the bike leans into corners. It's committed, but with a sense of refinement that makes the bike feel perfectly suited for a full day of canyon carving. Those hoping for a full-on Triumph branded Superbike may initially dismiss this bike, but that's a separate matter. There's even a bigger argument to be made for Triumph having found a void in the motorcycling space and creating a bike that fits. With the Speed Triple 1200 RR, the gentleman's sport bike is here, and Triumph is leading the charge. Best Enduro/Dual Sport, the 2022 Husqvarna TE300i. There's a line between what can be done on a trials motorcycle and what calls for a dirt bike, but with the continuing development of two-stroke Enduros, that line continues to blur. Husqvarna is at the forefront of this charge with its TE300i, a bike that has been ridden to multiple victories at Erzberg Rodeo, Romaniacs, and more of the most difficult extreme races on the planet. From idle to 5,000 RPM, The Husky's fuel-injected, liquid-cooled, two-stroke 293cc single-cylinder engine delivers abundant torque. Right when stalling seems inevitable, the bike just keeps chugging along and finding traction. The top end isn't where the TE300i makes its best power, but with 40 horsepower and 25.4 foot-pound of torque on tap, as measured by our in-house dyno, there's still plenty enough high RPM pull to get up just about any hill climb you pointed at. The two-stroke power plant produces almost no vibration thanks to its counterbalancer, and when it's time to refuel, the ratio right can be left on the shelf. The transfer port injection system not only eliminates a carburetor and the jetting that comes along with it, but also the need to pre-mix gas. The TE300i suspension makes it evident Husqvarna designed this motorcycle for the toughest trails. The WP Explorer 48mm coil spring fork and WP Exact shock are set up on the soft side, which makes candy out of techniques like preloading, unloading, and launching up daunting climbs, as if the bike is a two-wheeled hard enduro cheat code. A central double cradle chromoly steel frame, paired with a composite carbon fiber subframe, contributes to quick handling with plenty of controlled flex to help absorb obstacles big and small. Pivot turns are made easy with such an agile chassis, especially at its Cycle World measured 246-pound wet weight. The TE300i works best when ridden with finesse, but will suffer manhandling if the situation calls for it. Whether you're a world-class extreme enduro racer, or everyday single-track rider, or somewhere in between, this Husqvarna gives you all the tools you need. We know from experience that when riding a wickedly tough trail like 5 miles of hell, this is the bike to be on. Best Standard, the 2022 Triumph Speed Twin. Not only is it the third time in 4 years, Triumph's Big Bore Parallel Twin has been the winner of this category, but it's the second time in 3 years the Speed Twin has made CW's 10 Best list. A new inverted 43mm Marzocchi fork has further increased the bike's sporty nature. Brembo M50 front calipers now squeeze the larger 320mm rotors. Cast aluminum 12-spoke wheels are wrapped in Metzler Racetech RR tires, further increasing its handling prowess. Although essentially a Thruxton RS that's been stripped and simplified with a flat seat and taller tubular handlebar, slashing it along the twisting mountain roads above SoCal is sublime and surprising. Its classically British styling gives few clues as to how sharp the handling is when the pace is pushed. Slightly more power has been added to the equation, with higher compression pistons, a new camshaft profile, and revised porting. On the CW dyno, the Speed Twin's 92 horsepower is just one up from the 2020 model we tested. But this is actually a win, considering this new unit passes stricter emissions regulations. Throttle response from the 270-degree Twin is snappy and matched to the torque delivery that tugs your shoulders as you rock back slightly on the long, flat seat. There's modern sporting performance underneath a silhouette that will get compliments all day from just about anyone. Ride around unassumingly with style and cordial manners, then hit the back roads and be blown away with the ease at which it dispatches snaking roads. Without protest or compromise, this could be the one and only ride in your garage. Best Cruiser, the 2022 Harley-Davidson FXLR ST. A fine cruiser must balance modernity and tradition, heritage and relevance. We expect a chassis with dynamic handling and an engine with clean, accessible power brought together in a form that involves its rider in the history of our sport. The 2022 Harley-Davidson Lowrider ST gives us exactly that. The versatility of HD's Lowrider S Softail chassis, the power of its largest production engine, and a new fairing and saddlebags that add functionality and change the visual meaning of the machine. The ST draws from both 1983 and 2022, balancing Harley-Davidson's past against current custom trends to create a motorcycle that's not only a fine cruiser, but the best cruiser of 2022. Fairing and saddlebags for the ST are based on the 1983 FXRT. Like the Lowrider S, the ST is powered by a 117 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 V-twin engine, the largest currently in a production HD. On the Cycle World dyno, we saw this bike produce 94.89 horsepower at 4,810 RPM and 114.79 foot-pounds of torque at 3,470 RPM. There are no ride modes to vary throttle maps, but power delivered to the rear wheel is smooth, and there's plenty of it. Over 100 foot-pounds of torque are produced throughout nearly the entire usable rev range. As we've come to expect from Harley-Davidson, clutch and throttle feel are both exquisite, which adds to the high level of rider control and a sense of connection to the machine. The 2022 FXLR ST is not just a more versatile take on HD's hot rod softail, it's the factory acknowledging how customers have used the FXRT since its inception. It's Harley-Davidson showing decades of experience balancing performance with tradition, and doing so once again in an outstanding way. Best Touring Bike, 2022 Honda Goldwing Tour DCT. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored, if absolutely unsurprised, to present to you the defending and utterly undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the Honda Goldwing. Year after year, Honda's top-shelf touring motorcycle takes on all comers, many of them quite good indeed. Year after year, it beats each and every one of them. Even without any changes for 2022, and with new touring models coming to the market, the Goldwing Tour DCT wins this one without an argument from anyone on staff. In 2021, the Goldwing Tour DCT got a few fairly significant upgrades. A new top trunk that increased storage while improving passenger comfort, and a more powerful audio system with Android Auto as well as Apple CarPlay. Yet even without these updates, the competition struggles to compete with the Goldwing's nearly 5 decades of evolution and refinement. Rider accommodations are undeniably plush. There's a proper upright seating position, every contact point is right where it should be, every switch and button is exactly where your hand expects. Wind flows smoothly over rider and passenger as the sublimely smooth, reactor-powerful, horizontally opposed 6-cylinder hums away beneath. So yes, we could shower the Goldwing in superlatives and do it without exaggeration. But really, there's no need to. It's the best touring bike for the 3rd year running. And that, ladies and gentlemen, says it all. Best Motocrosser, the 2022 Kawasaki KX450. Riding a 450 motocross bike can be a challenge for even the greatest racers. With so much power on tap, large displacement dirt bikes can be difficult to tame and handle. Yet Kawasaki has found a way to make its flagship motocrosser walk that fine line, meaning it's manageable for the masses, yet capable enough for even the most skilled pilots. The KX450 spins 52.2 horsepower and 32.4 foot-pound of torque on the Cycle World dyno, and out in the world, its lively engine character helps keep the fun factor high, while its controllability cuts down on the chance of its rider seeing their life flash before their eyes. Modulating power from the fuel-injected liquid-cooled dual-overhead cam 4-stroke 449cc single-cylinder engine is made even easier with its Nissin hydraulic clutch, which offers such a nearly effortless lever pull that it's tempting to shift even when you don't need to. The comfort-focused setup of the Showa 49mm coil spring fork and the Showa shock keep the ride smooth when the terrain is not. Bumps, jumps, and everything in between are no match for these well-tuned components. Balance is nearly spot on, with the fork a tad soft in relation to the shock. The chassis department is where the KX450 stands out most. Its aluminum perimeter frame is forgiving, and while it's not the sharpest turning or most stable bike on the market, it scores smack dab in the middle of those 2 most important handling traits. In other words, this bike's handling is about as neutral as you can get. A well-proportioned rider triangle is complemented by narrow bodywork and a flat seat, making the KX450 comfortable and easy to move around on. In the same way it's difficult to beat a competitor that finishes on the podium in every race, it's tough to top a motorcycle that checks all the boxes and whose drawbacks are negligible. Consistency wins titles, and in the case of the 2022 KX450, that title is Cycle World's best motocrosser. Not every category in our 10 bests may matter to you, and that's fair enough. But you may trust that each category matters very much to us. We take the task seriously, because naming a motorcycle as best is not something that should be taken lightly. Countless hours of riding, countless reams of data, and near infinite debate and discussion goes into each and every choice. However they got here, they're the very best for 2022. Best of all, there's a best bike here for everyone.